Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve,
And I'm Scott.
and together we're Backyard Musings, broadcasted, and I'm in Utah.
And normally and I'm in Apple Valley. And normally we're talking about science and technology, but this is a little bit more than that.
This is a special edition. Iran launched a missile, a big ballistic missile, and so we want to cover it. We want to talk about it. So here we go. On June 17th, 2025, Iranian state media claimed there will be a surprise tonight that the quote world will remember for centuries end quote. In a stark turn of events, Iranian state media has issued a statement claiming that the world will witness a surprise attack tonight that will be remembered for centuries. This announcement comes amidst escalating tensions between Iran and Israel, which you've probably been watching on the news or YouTube, with both nations engaged in a series of airstrikes and counterattacks. On June 18th, that's today, there's about a 9-hour difference between here and the Middle East. A two-stage Sejjil missile fired at Israel from Eslamshahr, Iran, was intercepted. Would you like to know more?
So, the Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Yechil Letter, had previously warned that there are still surprises up our sleeves in Israel's fight against Iran, hinting at unspecified plans that could significantly escalate the conflict. The envoy did not provide specific details about the planned surprise, but suggested that it would be more impactful than Israel's previous operation to detonate thousands of Hezbollah pagers in Lebanon last year. And we talked about that. That was
Devastating.
Unprecedented and devastating to Hezbollah. So, but yeah.
So we're showing you in this slide here a snip of Tehran or Iran that shows Tehran, and then the Tehran suburbs where Eslamshahr is located. And our next slide is going to piece together. This is a snip from an ex-user video in Tehran who shot this film of this. You can see the contrail of the missile. And Scott, we've seen this plenty of times at Edwards Air Force Base, missiles being shot, and it looks like this.
Edwards,
right?
Vandenberg over
Vandenberg
on west on the coast, Pacific coast.
The U.S. does this. They shoot them out to Kwajalein Atoll. There's a big lagoon there, and the rocket goes in the lagoon. Divers go down. They pick up the rocket and reuse it. So, and then here to the left of this X snip is from Wikipedia, and it shows the medium-range ballistic missile Sejjil in service as of 2014, and it is a ballistic missile. And we're going to get into the description of what this ballistic missile is. User Lord Bebo at My Lord Bebo showed video footage from the Iranian city Eslamshahr, that's the one on the right, that appears to be a very large missile gaining altitude in the sky. The post was dated June 18th, 2025, 10:39 a.m. There are speculations, that's local time, by the way. I think it's local time. There are speculations going around about exactly what the surprise could be and what exactly is this missile. We're picking up reports from Bubba News that the 12th wave of Operation True Promise was launched. This is the IRGC saying this, with the use of a two-stage long-range super heavy Iranian Sajjil missile. And on a side note, the Times of Israel confirmed that a two-stage long-range super heavy Iranian missile was shot. They intercepted it, and the debris damaged a car. Another user named Amr Sarfati indicated that the IRGC announced that the Sajjil missile was used for the first time.
Sejjil is a family of Iranian solid-fueled medium-range ballistic missiles. The Sajjil are replacements for the Shahab liquid-fueled ballistic missiles. Iran claims that if launched, it could reach Tel Aviv in less than 7 minutes. And here are some key characteristics of the Sajjil missile.
So just to point out, hypersonic, we've already reported on this, is greater than Mach 5. And Iran has announced that they've achieved hypersonic missiles, but it hasn't been confirmed by anybody. The U.S. has not speculated on that, and they haven't confirmed it. So a hypersonic launch from Tel Aviv would take about 4 minutes to reach. Sorry, launch from Tehran or Iran would take about 4 minutes to reach Tel Aviv. Instead of here, it's they claim what is it, 7 minutes? Yeah, 7 minutes.
That's pretty quick.
It is real quick. And Scott, we were talking about this offline. So let me take this off here. Here we go. We were talking offline that you said, it's near impossible to intercept a hypersonic because it's going so fast. And there are ways you can do this. We were talking to have multiple intercepts, 2, 3, 4 intercepts, because you can plot the trajectory where it's going. It's just going so fast that you send out missiles in that line of where it's going. And the more missiles you shoot out to intercept, the higher probability you can intercept. So it's doable, but it takes a lot of resources. Those intercept missiles cost a lot of money.
And you got to be right.
Right. I mean, they can predict the trajectory. One of them, all it takes is one of them to be right.
Yeah. And what are they going to load in these things? That's the other concern, right?
We haven't seen a nuke yet, but there's been reports that they're close to a dirty bomb. If you put a dirty bomb on one of these, it wouldn't be as devastating as like a true nuclear bomb, even though it is a nuclear bomb. It would just be dirty. It would just hurt in a certain radius, not be devastating where it would disintegrate buildings and stuff, So, Scott, you want to take these bullet points?
Sure. 2-stage solid propellant design. So the Sejjil utilizes 2 stages powered by solid fuel, which allows for quicker launch times compared to liquid fuel missiles, making it less vulnerable to pre-launch strikes.
And let me point out here, Scott, we've seen on the news and on YouTube Israeli bombs that have the cameras on them. They're hitting these mobile launchers and they're destroying these missiles. I think the latest I heard was they've destroyed 1/3 of their missile capability, Iran's missile capability.
Okay. Medium range ballistic missile, MRBM. It has a reported operational range of 2,000 to 2,500 kilometers. This range puts it in the category of MRBMs, which can travel between 1,000 and 3,000 kilometers. And then, of course, improved guidance systems. The recent footage indicates Iran has incorporated upgraded guidance systems on the Sajjil, potentially including a strap-down guidance system and jet vanes from the Ghadar missile.
Yeah. So
I wonder if they're exchanging secrets with our buddy in North Korea, or with our buddy
more
in
likely Russia.
Yeah,
so
Russia.
It was specifically reported that this missile here, the Sejjil missile, and all 3 variants do not match any of the North Korean missiles or the Russian missiles. So it's homegrown, homemade in Iran. This particular Sejjil missile is. But one thing that's lacking in the reporting here was the speed. They didn't say the speed, for the characteristics of this missile because it hasn't been corroborated. Nobody's confirmed that it's. There's reports that it's Mach 13, but nobody has confirmed this.
So this might be a what would you call it? Like a decoy. They launched this thing in there just to see what would happen, right? If they had the capabilities of defending it. And then, because like you said, if they launched multiple of these things, that would make it even harder to defend, right? I'm talking about.
Well, these guys are $500,000 a piece, so that's a pretty expensive decoy,
You're not spending a lot of money on your people. You're spending it on trying to make a nuclear warhead and your military, right? That's pretty much.
You got to get the telemetry somehow. The only way to get the telemetry is to fire it.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm not a war guy, but I'm just thinking, maybe they launch one of these and to see how well it did and how well it was defended, and then they ramp it up. So I hope not,
But they're losing these missiles fast. Israel is destroying these missiles quickly on the ground.
Yeah. and they pretty much, from what I gather, watching news the last couple of days, Israel has laid claim to basically controlling the skies over Iran. Right? They've wiped out their Air Force capabilities, which I don't know how much that. I mean, I heard about some I think it was F-14s or something that were going back. Maybe it was F-18s. I don't know, but they were going back to, if I remember again, and don't quote me, but it was stuff that was turned over back in the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, and I could be wrong on the model, but some of their aircraft was ancient when it comes to aircraft.
Iran?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It'd be like Soviet MiG type stuff.
Yeah, old stuff.
It definitely wouldn't be U.S. stuff.
Right. Well, some of that stuff they because we had armed the Shah, and when they took over, when they overthrew the Shah in '79, I think it was, all that stuff, it's kind of like when we left Afghanistan, right? We left all that stuff there.
Yeah.
And so these guys have had this now. Whether they've been able to fly them or maintain them, or they've just been sitting on the ground, I don't know. But they're no more, from what I gather. The report that I heard is that pretty much anything that was on the ground and exposed, as far as Iran's Air Force has been decimated. So, yeah, what do they got left? They got missiles. So, and trucks to drive them around on.
So I wanted to point out for our reporting tonight on this segment, news we got from the Times of Israel, Ynet News, also that X user, and then the data on the Sejjil we picked up from Wikipedia, and Wikipedia states sources where they got the information from reporting on that, on the characteristics of the missile.
Okay, so yeah, once again, we're not the creators of this news. We're just passing it on. So,
all right, folks, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you joining us on this special edition.
Yeah, let's just hope and pray that this doesn't escalate any more than it is. So,
yeah.
Take care. Thanks.